Hello, it's Mandy Stewart. I am ready to do some more art with you. So today I am inspired by this card that I got in the mail from a friend that has these birds sitting on branches, and this is done with watercolor paint. So I'm going to paint a watercolor bird for you today and just kind of show you how simple this is. And we're going to work really small, so you can see by my hand, my little piece of paper here is smaller than my hand, and we're just going to make a tiny little miniature bird. I'm not starting with a pencil. I am just going to kind of draw with my paintbrush, let my paintbrush determine the shape of my bird. I have a jar of water, I have my watercolor paintbrush, some paper towels, and then my paper. This is like a thicker paper, like a mixed media type paper that will hold the watercolor paint a little better. I think I'm gonna do one like this bird here, and these look like robins to me. And I'm starting with just the light colors first, and then I can add some dark colors over top of it. And I'm just gonna kind of go with the outline. The wings, the side of the bird look kind of like parentheses to me. And then there's a little bit of blue across his neck, his or her. Not sure if this is part of the bird, like its wing, or if that's a leaf. And then down here I'm gonna have tail feathers. They're gonna come kind of down that way. So that's basic outline of the bird, and then I'm gonna add his head, which will sit up here. So I am someone that has grown to love watercolors. I have the awareness from working with kids and teaching that sometimes watercolors can be fairly frustrating to people because they can't control them, and that is frustrating. I've grown to love the fact that I can't control them and that they kind of have a mind of their own. So I'm going in with a slightly darker blue color to add a little bit of darker blue to a few sections. Now, something that you may notice, my light blue is still wet. So this gives me far less control over where the dark blue is going. This is where it sort of looks like it has a mind of its own, because it's just gonna travel where the paper's wet. So in order to have more control over where my darker colors are going, I'm gonna have to give it some time to dry. So I did a basic light blue, a little bit of dark blue. Now I'm gonna let that blue part dry before I go back in and really start to add some shading. So next I'll work on the belly, and the trick with this is that since the blue is still wet, if I don't want the two to mix, which I would prefer that they didn't in this case, I'm going to want to not touch where the blue is. I'm going to work away from the edges of the blue so I don't accidentally mix. Now if you do, it's not a big deal, but I'll try to sort of avoid those spots for now. So there's a little bit of yellow. Again, I like to start with the light colors first, and then I can add some darker. So a little bit of darker yellow. And A little bit of orange on this side. Again, the yellow's wet, so I can't really control where it bleeds or spreads to, and that's okay. And then I'm gonna add a tiny bit of orange mixed with brown, so I have a darker orange, to add a little tiny, hopefully tiny, spot for my beak. And depending on how big your brush is, you'll have a little more control with where that can go. So there's my beak. And then I'm gonna let that sit for a minute and come back to you when that part has dried, and I'll show you the rest. Okay, my bird feels like it's pretty dry now. I am going to mix up a darker blue. So I use the lighter blue that I have in my palette, a darker blue. Then I'm gonna make this blue even darker by adding a little bit of brown to it. So I'm trying to create more of a, almost like a navy blue look. And then I'm going to come in and add a few darker places. And I'm just referring to this bird, the way the artist has done it, to try to learn where the shadows are showing up. I find it's helpful to reference, especially as you're learning where shadows should be and stuff. It's helpful to reference that. I'm going to add some brown down here for my feet, and then a little brown spot for my eye up here. And again, that's pretty wet, so I'm gonna wait to add the other eye, because I think what'll happen is it'll just spread and it'll look kind of like my bird has a pirate eye patch, which could be cool if you want a pirate bird, I suppose. I like how this bird has a little bit of a darker orangish red in its chest, so I might even just add a touch more orange on one side to kind of make the color pop. Okay, well, I'm waiting for that section to dry where I want to add the other eye. So what I might do is come in and grab some green and add a branch for my bird to be sitting on. I'm really wondering if this this part is a leaf and not part of the bird. So I wonder if I add some green over this, I could turn it into more of like a leaf. There we go, bird-ish. If you try it out, I would love to see what you come up with. Thank you.